This is Back Roads of Illinois server to farmers and ranchers in central Illinois and the Midwest. Today is edition of Back Roads of Illinois. We were bringing you lasted for farming sources and information sponsored by AgriGold. We're on the Cattle Talk with Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Inc. about the fundamentals with these prices for right now with the cattle markets. This is Cattle Talk podcast with Kyle Bumsted from Allendale. I'm joining with Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Inc. about the cattle markets with Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how are things in Nebraska and Northwest Iowa? I'm joining with Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Inc. about the cattle markets with Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how are things in Nebraska and Northwest Iowa?
They're good. Probably one of the best looking crops we've had out here in a long time. And went to Iowa over the weekend, central Iowa and northwest Iowa. And a lot of folks are done with silage and getting geared up for high moisture corn. Talked to some guys in central Iowa that had hand shelled some corn that was under 30, and they were getting ready to get their dryers going and getting that stuff kind of taken care of, because I think they were going to start here potentially here this week here towards the end is when a few guys were thinking about firing up and getting going. So harvest is kind of on our doorstep, and a lot of folks are getting ready to get started.
How is the weather forecast?
Weather forecast is kind of cool right now. I mean, we've got highs in the mid to upper 60s, maybe low 70s, but then it's supposed to warm back up into the, upper 70s, low 80s here in the next week or so. So that'll be good here. I'd like to see some warm, dry weather here to finally finish the crop off or get the crop finished off here, get us into the end zone here as far as, finishing up the corn and bean crop. Now, we did just get between 5 and 6 inches of rain here over the weekend. So that's going to be a pretty decent finish off here to at least our bean crop, and hopefully round out the corn as well too.
Great to hear that for the harvest season without the rains.
Yes.
Kyle, how is the fundamentals on the feeder cattle for right now with the trade?
That's a good question. It is the 1st of September here, and a lot of folks think that seasonally we start to sell off, which we have in the past. But fundamentally here, the feeders have been strong out in the country as far as the cash market goes here up until the end of August so far. Haven't really seen a plethora of September sales really give us a good guide yet to see if that mentality changed here at the beginning of the month. So far, the fundamentals are still friendly here. We're still trading September over October and October over November, and November definitely over January. So you got an inverted market throughout here, and that cash feeder index gained almost $30 here during the month of August. So that tells me that there was people trying to get their feeders procured, and that's what happened here, and that's what drove this board higher.
Do you have any updates on the Packers' bids for it right now with labor shortage?
There's been some 242 trade already in Texas and Kansas. There's been some 382 trade on a dress basis there. Bids this week, I'm looking for Nebraska to be steady with last week around that 245 to start out with. And it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas and Texas trade just a little bit higher the way it's kind of sounding.
Of course. What do you recommend for the premium for cattle markets? I know that this market is getting ramped up.
That's right. Well, I would stay nimble if you're day trading this thing, because we've seen several times where this market opens up, sells off, and then comes rifling back, kind of like it did today, except it's not coming back at the normal time frame it does. Normally, it's been coming back around that 10 to 10:30 time frame, and here we're sitting here around after 11 o'clock, and the market's still kind of sitting here doing nothing. However, we're off our lows here by a decent amount. Some folks have been starting to get some hedges in place, but they're doing hedges with protection here just to kind of stave off a little bit of margin risk if that's the case. And there's also been a lot of folks here just selling cash and being happy with what they're getting, because that's kind of their plan, to sell August and September, and that's what their plan is to do because we're up here at record highs, and they'd be happy with just doing that.
How is the reflection of the feeder cattle for a defender?
So looking at that, I would say moving forward here, a person really has to watch the cash market here up front, out in the country here, see what that does. And then we also need to keep our eyes here on the basis as well, and not only the basis, but the spreads here. The September versus October, October versus November, November versus January. You still have an inverted market out there in front of us. So that's very, very tough to be selling a market that's cheaper out back and has a lot more time. So when you're looking at options as well too, it's very tough to price an option that might go off in 60 to 90 days and is lower than what the upfront market is. So it's very, very tough to look at option pricing out there too, as far as buying a put below the market and having to pay extra time value for it.
I can't remember to tell you that the sale price. Do you have any concerns about these prices in the sale barn?
Yeah, from a buyer standpoint, yes. From a seller standpoint, no. Definitely from a buyer stance, yeah. When you look out there as far as those far deferreds, some of these 7-weight cattle, they're pricing them off the April board, but they can turn into June, August cattle pretty fast. So you got to be watching out that as far as where the discounts are at.
Sure. Do you have any final thoughts on this cattle markets?
Well, like I said earlier, I think a person's got to stay nimble and manage your position accordingly. I know that options are expensive, but doing some sort of a spread without margin risk might be the way to play your bias in these markets.
Where people can find you for your consulting services for their livestock planning.
Yep, you can call me here at the office at 308-708-7340.
Thanks, Kyle.
You bet. Thank you.
This is Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Inc. on Monthly Beef on the Cattle Talk.